Okay, team level 2, what have we got in our glasses today? Well, today we are going to look at Beaujolais. So this wine that you've got here should be a Beaujolais or possibly a Beaujolais-Villages. I'm going to leave you for a very few seconds to have a think about the grape variety that is used in Beaujolais. Remember, the French have a very strict system of what grape varieties can grow in what regions. Beaujolais is no exception to that, and there's a very specific grape variety that grows there. Have a think. Stop the video if you want to go away and look it up. And in a few seconds I will of course reveal all. But this particular grape variety, Gamay, results in wines that has a very pale colour. There's not much anthocyanin, there's not much pigmentation in the skin of Gamay, so always the wines are very pale in colour, and you should be able to see straight through them, and therefore we would describe them as pale. This one that I have in front of me here is ruby as well. Sometimes you might get a little bit of purple in your Beaujolais, which means that you get a slight sort of pink glow around the rim. But this is most definitely ruby. So we're going to go with pale and ruby. Okay. Yep, I could get it in my... Yep, I can get it very clearly at my nose, struggling at my chin, but I can get it at my nose. So I'm going to go for medium intensity. Again, remember to write down, before you describe the aroma characteristics, write down whether it's primary, secondary and tertiary, and then write the relevant aroma characteristics next to it. So next to primary, I'm going to be writing red fruits. Strawberry, oh my god, bags of strawberry in here. There's some cherry as well. There is some raspberry, but it's mostly strawberry, cherry and raspberry. I might throw in some bubblegum as well. Again, the bubblegum is a bit of a clue for Beaujolais. It's not always. Certainly some of the cru Beaujolais will not have that bubblegum aroma, but this is a really basic bottom level Beaujolais, and so more than likely they've used carbonic maceration, go away, look that up, to help create the fermentation, to help achieve the fermentation, and that leads to these very sort of fruity, sweet bubblegum or boiled sweet characteristics in the wine. Okay, on the palate. Okay, dry. The acidity is medium, not a huge amount of mouth watering going on here. Tannins are there, but they're very low, so we describe those as low. Alcohol, again, about 12%. It feels very light, so we're going to go for medium. The body feels very light as well, so we would describe this as light bodied. Flavour intensity, I'm sticking with the medium that we found on the nose. And the flavour characteristics, again, I would repeat everything that came in on the nose. Strawberry, raspberry, cherry, bubblegum. There's a bit more plum in there this time. I think you can throw in some plum as well. And the finish, I would describe as short. Didn't hang around, left with a little bit of viscosity, not really flavour. So I would go with short on the finish. That all makes sense to me. This is a very simple wine. So again, next to your aroma and next to your flavour characteristics, consider whether it's a simple or a complex wine. I would have said this was a simple wine. We've only got really one cluster here, haven't we, which is red fruit in the wine. There's very little else, so we've got quite a simple fruit in front of us. And that leads us to a wine that could be described as acceptable quality. It could be described as good quality. It's perfectly balanced. It's perfectly drinkable. There's no bitterness. The tannins don't overpower. It's not sharp. It's not sour. Everything is really quite well integrated, but it is lacking some definition. It's lacking some character. It's lacking complexity. It's lacking a little joy, to be perfectly honest with you. And so it is drinkable, but there's little typicity. It's generic, I think, is the word that we could use to describe it. So I think we could also put this in, and probably more likely it's better placed in the acceptable category rather than good.